What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pandemic Philosophy Views. It's your boy Goodbody with my boy
Yeah,
Marcus Henderson.
yeah.
We're missing our good buddy Duncan, but he'll be back soon. Shout out to Duncan.
Shout out to Duncan.
Yeah, man. How you feeling, bro?
You good, man? I'm just going through like memory lane, trying to put all these pictures in a box. Look at Davon.
Ah,
She's so beautiful.
nice. Nice. Shout out to Davon.
Um, what's your week been looking like, man?
Say it again.
I said, what's your week been looking like?
Man, I've been learning a lot about myself this week. Um, because it's been so confusing outside that I feel like I've been in the house more. So it's been forcing me to really deal with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um so that's been interesting, man. I got to turn my brain off. I've been thinking too much. That thing been spinning. It in one sense is good because I'm learning a lot. I'm getting downloads and I'm using it. At on the other hand, I haven't found that balance of shutting it off yet. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just like too much. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually right before we got on, I did some rape. Not a very big amount because we was gonna do this, but uh I noticed when I did it for like the first 10 minutes, I felt my mouth like trembling a little bit. So it made me wonder, like, what is this? I'm having a not a reaction like my body was reacting to it, but like making me aware of myself. Um, because I grind my teeth in my sleep sometimes, so I know when I go to sleep, my body can still be moving, and be jittery.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when I started meditating, since it's been such a while since I did it, I felt my body like just not being able to stop moving. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, damn, I need to do this more often because I
yeah,
don't want to. Yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
man. It's been a lot of energy in the air lately, bro. Like
yeah.
I think
True.
the depression in LA or just around the world has gotten higher, or anxiety or heaviness, whatever it is, it's something. And I think I'm I'm feeling it. I may be feeling some of my own things, but also feeling just the outside world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, man. So that's where I am. But last night with that versus battle, I know this doesn't sound like wellness, but it was a nice little moment at the end of that thing to see these guys who come from this very awful environment to have a peak of some type of healing or forgiveness moment on a big platform.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that was needed, man.
It's funny that's the exact thing that I feel like my week has been consumed of is
Mm,
this sort of like healing. Um, whenever I seek to understand,
mm-hmm.
uh, it, it's it it's mainly because I don't want to feel frustrated or angry or whatever that thing is that just makes you feel like because you don't understand.
Right,
Because
right.
it's because something isn't clicking for you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things that happened was what happened first. I believe it was we're watching I let Sarah listen to the Mike Tyson Lil Boosie uh talk, you know,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and that was and for me, just listening to it for me, I mean, like I'm not somebody who's like hanging off of every word that Mike Tyson says or Lil Boosie for that matter. But
Right.
this was a very like healing talk because it was like thoughts that were shared that like
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I deal with, but I don't necessarily like talk about it or I could never really articulate it in the sense of like that, oh, that's what it is bothering me, or that's the thing that like is, you know,
Yeah.
uh uh that's the thing that's the issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that kind of stands out, is the kindness that you have. Like, that's what you want to be remembered for. And if you can't be kind, you know what I mean, be something of the like. Um, things with me and my wife, trying to understand more of, the type of women I've sort of dealt with in my lifetime, like, what the pattern is in that. And one of the patterns is, I do find women who have a I wouldn't call it an independence, but a sense of responsibility, you know,
Mm,
um,
mm,
because I know my sense of responsibility is all over the place.
mm-hmm.
It's not as grounded, like, and like somebody who just like knows like the day to day,
Right.
kind of stuff that you need to just survive, and that reminds me of my mother, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
But the thing
Cause,
is,
it,
the difference between
'cause-
what they were saying was like, you can't treat your woman, your lover, like your mother, because you don't want to love your mother like that. You know
and,
what I
and
mean?
and to add to that, because what's interesting about it, what I'm learning from it is that, but at the same time, that woman that we're falling in love with, the thing that's primarily making us fall or be connected or drawing us to or attracting us to is what reminds us of mama.
Yeah,
But you gotta, but what I'm learning too is that like you said, you can't, your relationship with mama gotta change. So it has to evolve. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Where, like you say, you can't treat your lover the same way you would mom. It's a different relationship, even though
because
the
they won't
res-
love you. They don't love you the same. It's not the same
right,
kind of thing. You know what I
right.
mean? Like a woman who, they said it on there, but I'll say it again. A woman who you're with loves you for her, like what she loves you for is for her survival.
Mm-hmm.
You are the slingshot to help her survive. Like, you are that equal to her that moves forward and thrives. At least to me, in a relationship, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
um and everything is for her survival, though, within that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that your mother does is for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a thing of like, the thing that you're attracted to is that your lover can love like a mother. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a motherly instinct to your lover that you can appreciate, that nurturing that you can appreciate. But it's
Right.
not, but the moment that you start to treat that relationship, you know, like like she's your mother instead of
Mm-hmm.
your lover, then it's just all
Yeah,
fucked up.
and that's where that process of healing comes in, because that's what's helped me, is to start to see the similarities so that I can, or not just see the similarities, see what I'm holding on to that reminds me of somebody else, and
Yeah.
addressing that.
Hmm.
uh because a lot of that stuff we got when we were kids, and it was just programmed in us to hold on to it, even though at some point, yeah, you gotta let this go. But we won't know to let it go until we have somebody in front of us to reflect that back to us. You know what I mean?
You're
That,
right.
yo, this is in you. So that's what that lover is, somebody to be your mirror, to show you who you are, you know?
Hmm. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. That and one of the things that um and then one of the things also that was very telling for me is in Sarah and I's relationship. When we were talking about it, we talked about, I talked about like the reason why things feel so heavy whenever we're like out of sync or something is happening, or it's not a synergy between us, is because she's my best friend. And who feels good when you into it with your best friend? Like,
If
you
it
think,
sucks, bro.
and as many friends as I got, you and Natalie and Mimi and everybody, like, I can't, I don't know who to call if I'm into it with my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, that's a job for
Mm-hmm.
my best friend.
Mhm.
And
Right, 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 right.
they ain't there like that.
Yeah,
So that was something that was really big for me in the sense of like, oh yeah, like I strive for this peace because you're my best friend. You're the person who has my back before anybody.
right,
And you
right,
know, whatever the thing is nothing that words cannot get us out of in terms of like just getting down to truth.
right.
Um, you know, one of the things that I also watched was that Dave Chappelle episode on Letterman, the Letterman
Oh,
thing. My
you talking
next
about a
guest.
while back
It's
or
not
recently?
on Netflix. It just came out not too long ago. But it's a
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle interview on Netflix with that Letterman show. My next guest needs no introduction or something like that.
I think I've seen it, but
But
if it came out like months ago, if it came out like a week ago, I haven't seen it.
no, it was months ago. I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
where they were
yeah.
just in his field in Ohio talking, and he went back to his hometown and stuff. And
No, you know what? I saw the one with Kanye. I don't think I saw the one with
yeah,
Dave.
you should watch the one with Dave, man, because you know, like he just talks like an uncle to me.
Right, right. He that
And
wisdom guy.
yeah, I can listen to him all the time, but you know, like he went through a lot of stuff in order to be
Oh, nice. That came out recently. Cool.
yeah, he's one of those people who I feel like, you know, has been through so much and can attest, you know, to so much from his tribulations, his trials and
Right.
tribulations that have been very public,
Right.
not just the private ones. And so it is easier to feel connected to that spirit, and especially like when it's a comedian who knows, you know, what they're putting out there. You know,
Hmm.
it's not just spewing off at the mouth. You know,
Right.
like it's like tailored jokes, tailored things that they're saying. Like so,
Hmm.
so I really appreciate it. But one of the things he said that, you know, that really stuck with me is just about like, you know, like you know, being a celebrity is this thing where you're pretending to be somebody. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I don't want to pretend to be somebody. I don't want to pretend like you
Yeah.
know, like you know everything. You know, I don't know. Like there's this pretend factor that you got to do, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to pretend with people. You
Yeah.
know, I understand my responsibility for being a public figure in terms of
Hmm.
like in public figure in the sense of you see me on TV or in movies, but not like I'm out
Right.
there in the streets telling people what to do or what they should be
Right.
this and this and
Right.
that. You know, like I just want to drop breadcrumbs of my experience so that
Hmm.
whoever's coming behind me can pick them up
Right.
and
Right. Right.
follow the way to whatever it is that we all
Hmm.
want. But you know what I mean? So it's just like this weird thing that, you know, I had to come into check with myself about what that really is and what that means, you know. Um
I think that's a an unspoken common thing too, bro.
yeah.
Because we've been out here 10 years now almost.
Mhm.
And so, we know a lot of people and we know a lot of people who have come out here and, did their thing, including us. And I've noticed a lot of people, when they get to a certain point, the pressure, and I've even felt this on my small journey, where you feel this weird feeling of, damn, I want to stay connected to where I'm from and my people. But there's this feeling that I can't do that with this quote unquote image that I'm trying to put out, because then
Right.
it throws my brand off, you know. Um, and I notice other people kind of carry that same thing. Like even people that I was, looking up to coming out here when I was younger, and like, yo, man, I'm seeing people at church that I know on TV. Hey, man, we talking, and I'm seeing them at the gym, and we talking, catching up, and trying to, get some encouragement or some advice. And at first, when they like, when you first meet them, I'm not gonna call no names, but they did a couple of shows, so they still haven't gotten there yet. When that big thing hit,
Oh, and
it's
that big
like
it's like I'm in now. Bye, suckers.
Oh man, and if you're
You know,
not in,
they
damn, I can't talk to you right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it becomes this thing about here's the thing, like when you become a celebrity, you start playing this game of like who likes me, who don't like me, what do I need to do to
Yeah.
position myself to be able to be like, liked. Uh yeah, and but like when you're just doing your thing, man, it's just about the work. You know what I mean? Like I've had projects where I'm working on it and I'm thinking like, man, I want to like reach out to this person, but and they're like close friends, like close famous friends. And I'm like, I want to reach out, but they busy and like I
Oh
don't want to
yeah.
bother them. Like there's a million people trying to get at them. I don't want to be one of them. But it's like,
Right.
no, fuck that. This is about the work, man. This is about
Right.
being able to offer somebody like what you feel like is valuable work. And what
Mm-hmm.
sane person wants to turn that down?
Right.
I mean, a celebrity who's like, oh, who's it written by? Oh, nobody I know, or oh, it's not
Right.
directed by
Right.
Ridley
You
Scott.
you
Oh,
know that you know what I think it is, bro? I think it's an insecurity because we're not secure in this industry. We don't have that freedom to go, you know what? If I want to audition right now, I can. If I don't right now, cool. And if I want to book something and whatever project I want to work on, great.
yeah,
It was set up so much to where we had to fight to get in to when you finally get one little thing, you feel like, man, I don't want to mess this up. And
I want to mess it up. I don't
yeah,
want to mess it up.
that's
So you
yeah,
start doing any old thing. You start looking at your at other projects like, I don't know if I want to be doing that. If I want to be associated with that, which
right.
is a real thing. It's a real thing. I mean, it's a balance. It
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
real balance, but at the same time, it's like you gotta be able to, you gotta know what's right for you, and you gotta
Mm-hmm.
stand on it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. Yeah, you just got to be able to stand on it, man, and you got to be able to help people where you can, and when you can't, you just can't. But at least stand on your word, whatever that is that you put out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
That's what it boils down to, man. Just really just truly authentically being yourself and not caring about nothing else.
man, so then that brings me after I watched this Dave Chappelle thing yesterday, I ended up watching the Fresh Prince family reunion.
Oh, we're gonna watch it tomorrow.
But then he also did a red table talk about his
Oh, right, right.
reunion, which when and he was talking to this clinical psychologist about it, and she started going into like the value of listening.
Mm,
You know, the first rule about listening is that it's never about you. You
right.
know, it's never about you trying to get your point across.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about listening is that you want to understand. And Will said this really cool thing. He was like, love is LUV. Listen, understand, validate.
Mm,
So I've heard you. Now I'm going to regurgitate to you what you said to me so that I understand. And then I'm going to validate it by agreeing with what's real and what I can actually, you know, accept for myself as your truth.
mm-hmm.
So it was just a really like, it was like really full circle in this whole kind of like 3 days of like really heavy conscious stuff to
Yeah.
take in, you know.
That was necessary too. So it's dope that we had two public healing moments.
Yeah,
Because we're all one community at the end of the day. So if we're all tuned in to these big figures, that means whatever they're struggling with, part of that is our struggle too,
right.
because their life has influenced us. So to see them move in a different direction, then that collective consciousness should shift as well. So that was cool, man.
Yeah,
I
because
did
you start to say if they could do it, I can do it too. You know
right.
what I mean? You start to look at your own sort of you start to listen to your own you start to look at your own life and look at your own situations that are like, oh man, that's right. I definitely don't want, you gotta start thinking of yourself as your future self. And what do
Right.
you want to be remembered for?
Right.
What do you want people to say about you when it's all said and done? You know what I mean? Like that's that
Mm-hmm.
person, like you got to think about that person that you transitioning into after you're gone from this physical plane.
Mm-hmm.
Like who is that person and what do they want you to be? You
Right.
know,
Right.
um,
And two, what is this moment going to mean after this moment pass? Because that's one of the biggest lessons for me. You get pissed
yeah,
off, or you get mad, or you lose your cool about something, or you get off your
mhm,
game, and then 2 hours later, when you think about or you reflect on what you was mad about, you go, "Wait, why was I mad? And why did I lose so much over that?" Because it doesn't mean anything.
mhm,
Um, yeah, man, that's yeah. Oh, because also with the whole Jeezy and Gucci thing, man, reason why it was needed, because bro, like, I don't know if you know this, but the amount of so last year we had a spree of little white boys going on mass killing sprees.
yep.
This year is the streets is taking people out. Bro, there's been 3 rappers in the past week, four, five, six, all 6 rappers, at least 6, that's been shot in 1 week. Three, three dead. Boosie got shot in the leg. Then I think the next day or 2 days after, Benny the Butcher got shot in the leg. You got King Von, who just passed away from being shot and killed. The Mode 3 guy, uh, King Von, 2 of his friends. Um, so I don't know what has happened to well, I guess the pandemic has brought all this stuff to the surface. That gang and that death culture, it didn't go nowhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
And with them making all that music in the late 90s and the early 2000s, that's all them little kids listen to, man. That's when they were born. Like all these new rappers were born between like 97 and 2001.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is that like, I think it's really important that like platforms are used. Especially, I mean, and it's hard. It's hard too, man. It's hard to be. When I was thinking about this whole Mike Tyson Boosie thing, I think Boosie really did like take those words to heart. You know what I mean? Like he really did hear what Mike was trying to tell him, and
Ooh,
it
he
was
did not.
really it was. You don't think he did?
It I thought he did based on just watching the podcast. But you got to go back after and watch Boosie's comments to Vlad on Vlad TV.
About the
Cause
Mike Tyson interview?
yeah, cause he on Vlad all the time. So Vlad was asking him about the interview, and all Vlad kept focusing on was, Mike trying to call you out on being gay. And it's like that wasn't a point, dude. He was only saying that because you're making harsh comments about somebody's sexuality. When you do that, that's usually a sign that you're insecure about this shit. And
Right.
so Boosie didn't take it that way. He's like, man, I don't know why you coming at me like that with all this heavy energy. I think for the most part he was listening because he said to Vlad, "Yo, man, this Mike." So everybody grew up watching this dude, and you're intimidated by him. So you gonna sit down and listen to him.
Right.
Uh, but was he on the same mental plane as Mike during that
No,
interview? No, it was just
no,
like
I don't think he was on the same mental plane, but like it was like little moments in there where he was like, where Mike was talking about, that sort of that thing inside that, you know, that drives you and how you gotta be that ambition and things like that. And Boosie said, like in the most vulnerable voice, man, he said, "But can it change though? Can it
mm,
change?"
mm,
And you was like, "Damn, dude, like, you know."
yeah,
But that's the thing. That's what Mike said. You're addicted to chaos. You're addicted to
yeah,
the idea that like shit, they're gonna be talking about me. I don't get whatever I do, they're gonna put it in a newspaper. Something's gonna happen. Like I like that. Like this man gets shot in the leg and it's everywhere in the news. It's talking about he gonna get his leg amputated and stuff, and that stuff gets a person off. Because it make you think people care. But people don't really care. It's just what's put in front of them. And you are good bait for that.
Story, right?
Yeah, you're bait for that. They don't actually care about you.
No, they just they're invested in the story.
Unless you're trying to be and that's what Mike was saying. He's like, if you try being kind, if you try being the kind of person where you ask for forgiveness from your enemies, you know, if you try to be the type of person where you are looking to seek redemption, you know, then there's it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Yeah. And that's another thing that Dave said, you know, like there would be more honesty in the world if there were more space for redemption. You know what I mean? If there was more space for redemption, you can have more honesty in the world. You can actually deal with the issues and things like that are going on. But you know, nobody has any type of space for redemption in their heart, publicly at least. I know privately I can have conversations with people about things, and you know, it's cool, but like publicly, it's like you got to stand on something in front of people in order so they'll know what you're about. You know what I mean?
And that goes back to that listening, because we stop listening when we get triggered.
Yeah.
And the moment you say something to trigger people, they can't listen to you no more. And so they've turned it off, and now they put up this wall against you. And that's something that I've learned and that I struggled with romantically with women in my life, with not being able to not allowing myself to be fully honest about how I feel, because of the feeling that if I share this with you, you might not accept it right or well or be receptive to it. And that's a vulnerable place to be in, because I'm exposing myself, and to feel that pushback without a listening feels that brings up some type of fear, or brought up some type of fear. I'm not like that anymore. I'm more vocal about how I feel, but that was something that it was before, for sure. Like, there's certain things you can't talk about, bro. Well, you couldn't talk about, because as soon as you bring it up, we've been programmed to think so many things are bad. And if you feel like, you know what, I just have a feeling that I don't know if this is bad, can I talk about it? Shit. If it's already in their brain that it's bad, so that's I think that could be part of that, why people have such a hard time with that redemption, because then you so hurt by what you just heard, you don't even know how to listen no more to even go, you know what, it's okay, because it was in the past. This is who you are right now. Cool.
Right.
We'd be like, no, wait, you did that 10 years ago? That means you could do it 10 years in the future. Like, what? How you go project some future update for me?
Yeah.
Based on something I told you.
But it's not for you, it's for them.
Right.
It's for it to make more sense to them.
You know, than it is.
Yeah. Like,
let me go ahead and see this now, project it so I can.
I'm formulating a plan so that 10 years from now, I'm not surprised, or I can make a decision to be out of this before the 10 years, you know, based on my calculations, you know, like, but you know, I'm finding more and more the benefit in listening, understanding. And if I am frustrated about it, then I don't have to get it right then. You know what I mean? I can just drop it. I can just drop it and say, hey, you know, it's whatever. It's not about me. Or I can just say, hey, my partner is in need right now. Or there is a greater need for me to there's a greater need for me to stabilize my emotions, my energy and motion, to make sure that I'm grounded enough so that I may receive what's being said, so that this person can find their way toward healing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it feels like, at least. So,
That shit takes a deep breath, bro. Cause them moments be happening so fast, and I had to catch
yeah,
myself a few times. Cause I've been getting a lot better at that lately.
yeah.
Um, but in the moments where I don't catch it, I'm like, damn, how did that thing come on me so fast to where like I didn't even have a moment to think to myself to go, hey, you know what? Just breathe right now.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
Was that?
It's not being present. It's having your
Yeah,
mind on something else, and then you get
it's
snapped. It's like being in a dream state, and then somebody snatches you out of it and puts you in somewhere else. And you're like, wait, I wasn't done. I had unfinished business over here, and now I got
yeah,
to deal with this.
yeah,
Wait a second, and it's frustrating. That's frustrating,
yeah,
and then you want to understand it because you want to fix it
mm-hmm.
right then and
That's
there.
it.
Okay, all right, you pulled me out of my dream state, so let me fix it. What's the problem? What's this?
Right,
But sometimes, like, it's not a problem. It's just your time is needed, and that time is
right.
valuable because you were in another dream state. You were in another place with your mind and using it in a way that you felt was constructive for your survival and future.
Well,
You
you
know,
know what? I can attest to that because there have been times where if me and that were to have a tense moment, part of my frustration would be, "Mm, why are we talking about this right now and not something that's going like because my mind before the conversation was about I'm always thinking about like, man, I want to do this or build this or
yeah,
become this. And then now we're talking about something that doesn't feel good. It's like, wait, this is not even important right now. We should
yeah,
be talking about something more uplifting. But that doesn't mean what I've learned though is what to man, what you just said was so great is that damn, knowing that that frustration comes from that feeling of then you just pulled me out of my dream. And now I got to deal with this versus going, okay, there's a need right now. Let me let go of my selfishness in this moment and see like what did the universe just bring me just now? Why is this in front of me? And
yeah,
being fully present and just listening, like, okay, what's going on? And if it's not right, it's okay that it's not right. And that's something that I struggled with before. Like, hey, yo, we gotta make this right
yeah.
right
Because
now.
it's like navigating. One of the things that misunderstanding creates is darkness, and we all can agree nobody can see in the dark. Nobody
Right,
has a special light in their eyes or a telescope in their eyes that like makes them see
right,
magically night vision. Like, it's just not in our DNA.
right.
But what's really cool is if you have the patience and you're willing to help the person look for the light switch, not try to tell them where it is, like it's right by the door. Just go by the
Mm-hmm.
door. Don't you see it by the door? But it's like completely dark. And they're navigating their misunderstanding. They're navigating their hurt. They're navigating pain. They're navigating their truth so that they can understand better why they're feeling that way. Because nobody wants to feel bad. Nobody
Right.
to feel angry. Nobody wants to just feel like blah, you know.
Mhm,
And there are so
mhm,
many factors that figure into it, but for the most part, like you can do your part by being a good partner and listening and being open to whatever it is. Like you said, whatever the universe is trying to give me in this
mhm,
moment, I
mhm.
receive. And
Treat everything as yourself. So what if this person is you right now, coming to you with some issue? How would you treat yourself in that moment? Are you gonna fuss at yourself and berate yourself because you didn't understand something and
mhm,
you were ignorant to not know that you don't understand it?
dude,
Um, yeah, it's it's work, man, and it's growth. There's a lot of growth in that. And growing in those moments, it feels like, oh, this happened to grow me. I was forced with this
absolutely.
scenario for my own growth. And that's funny because a lot of times we'll be in meditation or in prayer or whatever we're doing, and go, man, I want to grow, I want to be better. But then the universe will send you a challenge, just like when you go in the weight room, you want to get stronger. All right, we're gonna give you these heavier weights to make you have to get out of your comfort zone. So and wanting to be better, the universe will send us things that will pull us out of our comfort zone, and instead of embracing that, we get mad about it. It's like some of my clients when they want to lose weight, and then after 2 weeks of them doing 30-pound dumbbells, and then I give them 40, they go, "Why you give me 40? I've been doing 30 this whole time." I'm like, well, you can't get in shape if you're gonna do the same thing the rest of your life. You've gotten better now, so which means I got to take you up to challenge you to make you grow. You're only gonna grow if I hurt you a little bit right now with this with this resistance.
It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. Basically.
It's a good hurt though.
It's a good hurt.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Well, you think that okay, so Biden just won. Trump doesn't seem to want to move anywhere no time soon. So
It's fake news. All of it. It's just fake news, dude. It's just fake news. It's all just fucking bullshit that like
this is the first time where all of this really genuinely felt like just somebody trying to distract me from something. Not that, they're not real people.
like that.
No, well, no, I mean, like, where you can't even debate about it. Before it's like, oh, this is just conspiracy, man. Just, now it's like, bro, are we watching Nickelodeon or CNN?
Dude, man, it's baffling to me, man. I'll never let this go. Like in the history of our country, nobody ever thanks, man. In the history of our country, nobody has ever asked a sitting president. So does it look like you're gonna concede when you lose? If you lose, sir? Like I just can't leave that alone. Like it's just you literally dropped the pill in our hand and we looked at it and most people was like, I mean, like people like me at least looked at that pill and was like, what the fuck? I don't want to eat that. What are you talking about? That's stupid. Why would you want? And then other people who I've seen looked around and was like, yeah, we all doing this? Okay.
Asking, go there, go.
And then it was like,
hey, Mike Pence was smooth in him up for his line though. I'm sorry, I don't like it, but that one line was smooth when she said, "So what if Trump doesn't win?" Well, first of all, I believe we're gonna win. So he dodged that shit so fast.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, that dude smooth with that one. That's the only line he ever said.
He shut it down. I think we're gonna win. Next question.
Next question.
I don't even answer that. It's just such a silly thing. And like, I can literally like, they're getting transition teams together and stuff like that. And it's like, what? Because, it all starts with like, just the job title. Like nobody is more powerful than anybody. It's just a bunch of people listening to somebody. So if you got like a Secretary of Defense or something like that, that's like, don't worry, Mr. President, everything is taken care of. Nobody can move you out of this office. That means that person gave orders to some other people who gave orders to some other people. But if those other people got common sense, just the idea of like, well, I just watched the news and they say he's not our president anymore. Like I just literally saw that. So I'm not gonna fulfill this order that just came down from him. Like it's that easy. But people are making it seem like Trump has some sort of button that he's like he has to hand Joe Biden. It is not real.
It's not real. It's a narrative. Yeah. And it's that media, man, because there's another element to all this stuff that is very real. Because I don't know if you pay attention to all the troops being pulled out of Afghanistan right now. So that's really big because once America leaves, then the Taliban takes over. And they kind of got a little agreement with America that, hey, take your troops out. We're going to take it from here. But unfortunately, I just found out today that young lady that I grew up with, her little brother got killed this week in Afghanistan from all of that tense chaos going over there right now. So that part is real. Like people are still dying. But
Yeah.
it's not because some little feud between Trump and Biden and Trump being a racist asshole. Like it's way more deeper shit going on.
Oh yeah.
And they're using this to like distract us from just being focused on that and not the other issues. Like why are y'all pulling out so many troops? And is it safe for family members who have, family over there right now? Because another one of his friends apparently got killed too. I just saw it on Facebook, man. Like you know, that's tough. So makes you wonder, like, what is going on? One
Yeah.
thing I one thing I searched or that I heard was this was a few years ago, and it feels like a survival thing because our natural resources are starting to dry up because there's so many people here. Apparently, that's what they're saying. And they're saying that by 2040, most of our natural resources will be gone. So we only have like a little bit left. And so a lot of those wars in the Middle East is because that's where a lot of the last reservation of oil and other elements are. That's why they have a lot of battles going on in Africa. It's a lot of resources and elements there. But if you're no longer available to get those, what happens to your infrastructure? Your whole civilization or your country.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it feels like the whole world is in this big puzzle, and we're all on this thin line or this thin stream between each other. That we like barely dangling on to, even though we don't have to, because it's like,
Yeah.
damn, this is a big ass planet. It can't be that scarce because shit is coming every day from the sun. So what are you talking about? We'll have enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
All it means to me is that this sort of normal way of life that we see it is just going to be a little different, just like the pandemic, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, we got hit with all these like different rules and regulations that like kind of just change life as we know it.
and it's not going back
It's not
to
going back. We know that, but within this new model, we can still find our little loopholes and things like that for our own sort of normalcy. You know, I
yeah.
don't doubt that at all. Um, you
It's
know,
gonna it's gonna force us to like evolve into
yeah,
something
no, it's
better.
essentially. I mean, like, think about it. All the oil's leaving, so what are we gonna have to do? Rely on solar? Of course.
Right,
Like, that's what
right.
you know what I
Take
mean. Like
which is gonna make technology become more important, which means that's gonna create another situation too. Because
I mean, it's dude. It's finna. I'm just saying, man. Like I think about like how much it costs for a commercial to go on like a station and to play constantly. It costs like millions of dollars, dude. Like advertisement costs like millions of dollars.
yeah,
Uh, they made commercials for the pandemic. Like they wouldn't do that if it was just going to be a short while. They wouldn't a company wouldn't put out millions of dollars for advertising if it was for something that was going to be over soon.
true.
So now they got like technology to where they're like, hey, don't come to our car dealership anymore. We bring the cars to you.
Right. Wait, did you see a commercial for that?
Yeah.
Damn.
No
Yeah.
need. Go online, click what you want. It'll be to you the next day. And you can
Wow.
test drive your car from there.
Wow.
I was like, what? Like, and I was thinking to myself, like, wow, this is playing during the playoffs. And this is
Mm.
expensive to get your advertisement on during sports events. So this is interesting. You
But
really,
you gotta do something though.
yeah, but still like millions of dollars for advertisement, like I mean, even Chuck E. Cheese was like, all right, we gotta open up, y'all. We gotta do something. Look, kids,
Right.
you gotta wear a mask all day. You understand?
Right.
When we all be
Yeah.
separated, we'll limit it to like 20 people in that mug at a time.
Damn.
We social distance. Nobody's in the same quadrant at the same time. Like,
I wonder if this is happening on a bigger level from the universe for us to have just a little bit of moment of separation so we can work on ourselves so that we can be equipped for this next uh cycle we're going into. Because I feel like if the universe is shifting into a new frequency, that means our frequency gotta advance too, you know. So if we're still in that same mindset or vibration that we were on the past 20 years, like that shit gonna get ate up.
man,
It's
I had this thought, and maybe I got it from like Futurama or something like that. But the true aliens of this earth, like the true like foreign beings of this earth, is
it's
the
us.
human brain. It's not just us. It's not this. It's this up here.
Mm-hmm.
These motherfuckers since the dawn of time have been here figuring shit out, talking through
Mm-hmm.
brain waves, communicating
Mm-hmm.
with no like actual sound. It's just been like, and this is, and I think about the evolution of the cockroach also when I think about the brain. I think
Mm-hmm.
about how, like, over the centuries, cockroaches have just survived and they've evolved so that their survival is first, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it went from like being these, or at least from my understanding, cockroaches went from being these, like, these, what's the word, bugs that didn't have like a
Uh,
exoskeleton or something like that, or
right. Yeah.
something like that. And like, and then they end up, and then like over time, they like started to grow these like endoskeletons, and then they started to like
Mm.
get wings and all this different stuff. They could survive all these like, or they had endoskeletons, then they turn exoskeletons. So like, even when you
Yeah.
or something, they still survive a smash. Like, what? So like,
Yeah.
but they had to evolve. So I think about the evolution of the cockroach, and I think about brains being the aliens of this earth, right? So you got a bunch of brains just sort of slugging around, like figuring out movement. Like, they had abilities, but they didn't have protection. So over time, they just started to evolve, and that's how like you got the skull or something, or then like it just started to manifest.
Oh, you know
Like, it
what,
just
bro?
started to
You just
manifest.
open me up to some ideas, bro. Oh,
But
you
you know
just
what I
open
mean?
me up, bro. Bro, do you think that made me feel like because all these mythologies and all these Egyptians, they always had this Uraeus, right? They talk about that Kundalini energy or that serpentine energy rising up, and they
Mhm.
also talk about your brain being a reptilian brain because it is the it coils, and it also the if you look at the way it's shaped, it got a lot of similarities to snake. So it makes me wonder, like, damn, was it just the brains here first, and then over time the shit just started to morph and get like to dense, and then we started to have bones, which then created a skull, which then later on, oh, I need to grab something because
Because
I
it was
can't
it
just
was
think
it
it
was
to me.
calcium, right? And our brains produce
Right.
calcium. Like, it's all this stuff that our brains produce.
And calcium is a buildup, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So
Ah,
so the idea is that, like, all this stuff happened, and then like there was this manifestation that happened from these brains that sort of,
yeah.
but what I also believe was on this plane at one point was the soul or spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow the brains communicated with the solar spirit, and that's what creates the heart. It's like there's
Okay.
an agreement. There was an agreement made between brains and the soul, in the soul world or the spirit world, and they were like, "All right, I'll help you survive this motherfucker, but look, man, you can't be doing none of your trickery shit." So like,
Oh,
the
that
reason why we
that
can't
is the
unlock,
demiurge story, bro.
but look, this is like, but the
What?
one thing that made me think about this, somebody said something like, the brain is the one part of the body that we know the least amount about.
The brain.
Yeah.
And we
And
use that more to do everything.
to do everything else. But check this out. What enemy do you know is going to let you know everything about them? What adversary do you know is going to like let you study everything about them?
So what you're saying is my brain is not really my best friend.
Oh no, not at all. That's why you got to check in with
My heart is.
That's why you
My
got to check
heart
in
is.
with your heart.
Mm-hmm,
Because your
mm-hmm.
brain is going to do what it's going to do. It's going to talk about the possibilities. Your brain is going to give you the possibilities. It's going to put the illusion in your head that things are real when they're really not. It's going to put in your head that you have a million ways to go, but your heart knows it's only one way to go.
Right.
You know, that's the difference. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, so this brain is sort of like this infected creature that has sort of made a plan from the very beginning. The brain, it's not necessarily, it doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to source. It doesn't belong to George Washington or Queen Elizabeth or Komet or whoever. Like, it doesn't belong to anybody. It's its own entity. You know
what? See now I'm about to do some more studying. I'm gonna study this brain more.
I know,
But
man.
you know what they did in Egypt when they used to wrap the bodies? They didn't even give a shit about the brain. They would just pull it out through the nostrils, throw the shit away. All the other organs they would place in jars and put them with the body because they said the brain, that's not it. And if you notice, I just thought about it. They got all these depictions, and they got all these symbols, but you don't see no symbol of the brain nowhere. You see the skull, and you see how the skull. Oh fuck!
What happened? Died?
Oh.
Oh, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Another wonderful pandemic philosophy view. I'm sure Brandon will be back. I'm not used to doing this by myself, so I'm just gonna get a co-host. Let's go, Pop. Pop. Hey, what's going on? What we doing today? I don't know, man. What you want to talk about? I want to talk about everything. Everything that you guys have been talking about. I believe in it. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in love. I believe in the heart. I believe in the body and spirit and the brain all talking to each other. I believe in it all. I believe in love. Good on you, man. I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of you guys. Keep watching Pandemic Philosophy Views. We love you. Goodbye.
Whoa, sorry about that, everybody. My phone died, but looks like my boy Marcus is out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week. Love you. Peace.